Have you ever wondered how the ancient stories of Exodus could still speak to us today? What if I told you that these tales of plagues and miracles are more than just historical accounts, they are revelations of divine sovereignty? In reading Exodus 10, God, I am, the sovereign, we're diving into a narrative that reveals not just a distant past, but a profound truth about God's ultimate control and purpose. This isn't just about ancient Egypt, it's about understanding how God's sovereignty plays out in our lives and why this knowledge is crucial for us now. Prepare to challenge your perspective and uncover the timeless power behind these biblical events, one that has the potential to reshape your understanding of divine authority and human responsibility. So, let's read the chapter together. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his officials so that I may perform these signs of mine among them, that you may tell your children and grandchildren how I dealt harshly with the Egyptians, and how I performed my signs among them, and that you may know that I am the Lord." So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to him, "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says, How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will bring locusts into your country tomorrow. They will cover the face of the ground so that it cannot be seen. They will devour what little you have left after the hail, including every tree that is growing in your fields. They will fill your houses and those of all your officials and all the Egyptians, something neither your parents nor your ancestors have ever seen from the day they settled in this land till now." Then Moses turned and left Pharaoh. Pharaoh's officials said to him, "How long will this man be a snare to us? Let the people go, so that they may worship the Lord their God. Do you not yet realize that Egypt is ruined?" Then Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh. "Go, worship the Lord your God," he said. "But tell me who will be going." Moses answered, "We will go with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, and with our flocks and herds, because we are to celebrate a festival to the Lord." Pharaoh said, "The Lord be with you, if I let you go, along with your women and children. Clearly you are bent on evil. No! Have only the men go and worship the Lord, since that's what you have been asking for." Then Moses and Aaron were driven out of Pharaoh's presence. And the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over Egypt so that locusts swarm over the land and devour everything growing in the fields, everything left by the hail." So Moses stretched out his staff over Egypt, and the Lord made an east wind blow across the land all that day and all that night. By morning the wind had brought the locusts. They invaded all Egypt and settled down in every area of the country in great numbers. Never before had there been such a plague of locusts, nor will there ever be again. They covered all the ground until it was black. They devoured all that was left after the hail, everything growing in the fields and the fruit on the trees. Nothing green remained on tree or plant in all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now forgive my sin once more and pray to the Lord your God to take this deadly plague away from me." Moses then left Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord. And the Lord changed the wind to a very strong west wind, which caught up the locusts and carried them into the Red Sea. Not a locust was left anywhere in Egypt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let the Israelites go. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand toward the sky so that darkness spreads over Egypt, darkness that can be felt." So Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. No one could see anyone else or move about for 3 days. Yet all the Israelites had light in the places where they lived. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and said, "Go, worship the Lord. Even your women and children may go with you, only leave your flocks and herds behind." But Moses said, "You must allow us to have sacrifices and burnt offerings to present to the Lord our God. Our livestock too must go with us, not a hoof is to be left behind. We have to use some of them in worshiping the Lord our God, and until we get there we will not know what we are to use to worship the Lord." But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he was not willing to let them go. Pharaoh said to Moses, "Get out of my sight. Make sure you do not appear before me again. The day you see my face you will die." "Just as you say," Moses replied. "I will never appear before you again." Let's say a quick prayer to thank the Lord for his mercy. But first, if this exploration has sparked a desire to delve deeper, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Join us as we continue to unravel these profound truths and apply them to our lives. Your journey into understanding and living out God's sovereignty starts here. Hey God, we just want to take a moment to thank you for the wisdom you've shared with us in this study. Thank you for opening our hearts and minds to understand more about your sovereignty and control over everything. We ask you now to help us take what we've learned and apply it in our daily lives. Guide us to live in alignment with your purpose, trusting in your justice and power in every situation. We can't do this on our own, Lord, but with your help, we know we can walk this out. Amen. Now that we've explored the depth of God's sovereignty in Exodus 10, it's time to reflect on how this divine authority impacts us today. How can understanding God's absolute control and purpose transform your daily life? Are you ready to embrace the responsibility of sharing this powerful truth with others, ensuring that the message of divine sovereignty and justice resonates through generations? Take a moment to consider how you can apply these lessons in your own journey. And, as always, don't forget to check the last video and learn more about the scriptures.